it's been wonderful working with them. Also with all the government organizations that we have represented here, the town of Lagadia, of course. We're going to be talking about Pentalofos up in Kozani, that region. And so we express gratitude to them. But we're going to take a little bit of a different approach. We're going to be very quick because we know that we have Dr. Monson also who needs to present. And so I'm going to let Will kind of pull this together and kind of get started here in just a second. But we have a great, a wonderful opportunity to work together. And as Dr. Lago talked about, we have many different organizations that are helping us, the students specifically, and I'm glad that Dr. Lago talked about students, because whether it's Aliki or Paul, myself, Dr. Ganyats, it's always about the students. And in this case, we spent some time up in Pentalofos. We received grants in order to do this type of work. Students are also paying a part of their way, and you need to know that. The students are contributing to be able to have this experience. And so as I quickly go through this, recognize that we have many opportunities, but it's because of good people, good organizations that allow us to do these types of activities. So first of all, boy, I'd like to quickly move through. This was the group that went to Pentalofos. This is a combination between architecture and digital media. And I think what's important for our administrators that are here from Utah Valley University, as well as those who are here in Greece, is that these collaborations and the multidisciplinary activities are critical to doing what we're doing. We can't do them again ourselves, as Dr. Lago talked about, and also Leaky. And so we had a combination of students from the architecture school. Also we had our media specialists and two developers. And the two that are on the end, on this far right side, are actually from our extended reality program, our cohort. And so we had a very eclectic mix of students. And of course, I need to express gratitude to Aliki because she has been a driving force, a very driving force. We made the joke that we have Athena and then we have Aliki. She is amazing, and we appreciate all that she has done to help a lot of this come to pass. And she was able to go with us on this particular timeline. Things started, at least for digital media, in this collaboration. We started in 2024. I was not on that trip. That was with Emily Hedrick, my colleague from digital media. I've been involved in many different projects, and I think at that time, I can't remember where I was. I was somewhere, but she was able to come. I was able to come later on in October of 2024 directly to work with Dr. Monson and also Aliki and the others to go to Pentalofos. Now, you'll notice that we also had Lagadia in July last year. I was able to come and participate and be part of the conference last year. But then we were able to get some funding. Aliki and I, also working with Dr. Lago, will make sure that he gets credit also for helping to fund a part of this. We also had a grant from a Wheatley Family Foundation, and also for our GEL grants, which is basically small grants that help us to do different activities. So with that combination, we were able to come in January. Now, Dr. Iulίου was able to go to Pentalofos, and she had to come back and spend some time with her mom and then return home. At that time, we came to Lagadia as well, and also did one of the churches here. And that brings us to today. And so I'm gonna, just quickly, our goals are really trying to work together to accomplish a lot of different tasks. And I'm gonna let Will is an amazing young man. He is. He does a great job. And we thought we would take a little bit different approach and let him talk about his experiences. We're just getting started with this part of the project. We were able to accomplish a lot. That was in January. It was very cold. We had a small little heater. And there was nothing else in the church to keep us warm. But we were there all day for 3 days. And we didn't conclude our activities until 12 o'clock midnight, the day before we were going. So we worked feverishly to get started. So what you're going to see from Will is his experience in doing this project. And so I'm going to go ahead and leave this over to Will.
Thank you, Michael. I just want to talk about 4 things with my experience. First, I just want to talk about how I got there. Then I want to talk about the methodology that Aliki and I used to document Agios Achillios. And then I want to talk about some observations and some takeaways from this project. So I was so fortunate. As you can see, it was very cold. I was so fortunate to go with Aliki and with Emily Hendrickson, the digital media team, in October of 2024 for the first time during a historical preservation class I took at UVU. And while I was taking this class, we went to Pentalofos, and that was the first time I saw this beautiful church in Pentalofos.
Now tell the story.
Oh,
Who showed us the church? It was Dr. Ganyatsis.
it was Ganyatsis, yes.
Now, you all need to know something really important here. This is our first time in Pentalofos. And Dr. Ganyatsis, and you all know Dr. Ganyatsis, he says, oh, I need to show you something. It was not part of the program. And yes, that's Dr. Ganyatsis. But let me tell you, Dr. Ganyatsis, that unplanned visit changed students' lives. Changed students' lives.
I'm glad.
Yes, it did. So I saw this church for the first time with Dr. Ganyatsis, and I thought, this is amazing. I love Pentalofos. I'm never going to see this place again in my life. That was the one time. But then Aliki reached out to me in January and said, Will, we need help in Greece with this project in Pentalofos. Would you like to come? And so I was able to come back to this town that I loved. So our methodology, well, first, it was very cold. So we woke up, put our boots on, got all of our jackets, our beanies, Aliki's hand warmers, and our little, very tiny heater, and we went to the church to work. But I have here just some of the tools if you want to come and look at them afterwards. We used some measuring devices, including a laser measurer, a standard tape measurer. We also used some more traditional tools, and I need to thank my professors, Paul Monson, Aliki, and David Barker, for teaching me how to use this. Nobody uses this anymore, but we use compasses, triangles, and traditional drafting methods, and that was essential to helping us document this church. And of course we used a scale. Mine is in standard units, so inches, but for this we used millimeters and centimeters, of course. So this is our little setup. We set up a table in the back room here. We had our drafting table with our paper, and I would go and I would take measurements for Aliki. I would go stand in the corner. I would hold my laser measurer. I would find the dimensions, and then I would make a rough sketch in my notebook. I would bring it to Aliki, read it to her, and she would draft it, and we would go and repeat that process. We started on the inside of the building, which was very important, and from the inside we measured all the walls, and then we went to the outside of the building.
Now, I'm going to stop you here for a second. Bring up your book. He wasn't planning on this. I told him to bring up his notebook. Why would I have you bring up your notebook?
I like to draw.
Now show them the pages.
Which pages?
All of them.
Okay.
That's what he's been doing as we've been speaking, your presentation. He's over here drawing because he has what? An architecture mind. He's rehearsing in his mind what he's listening to, and you're putting a timestamp visually on what you're doing. Now show them the rest of the pages.
Okay.
Who is this from? He's here.
George. I saved his drawings. We had a conversation on architecture, and they were beautiful.
Here, doctor, you can see that. Did he do a good job?
I still need your signature.
Well, I'm trying to bring something up really important, is the craft that has been talked about in all of this is in the doing. It's not in technology, and I'll show you some things here. It's in the doing and learning the craft. It means analog and digital. It's the same thing, even though we're called digital media, we still deal with analog because our students need to know where this technology comes from and how to adapt to it. We're very different than most universities across all of our programs. And that's something Utah Valley University should be very proud of. And so go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Professor. So this was another picture, right? We would find an area, measure the area. This was a rough sketch here in my notebook. And then we would translate those onto the measured plans and drawings. So some observations. Here we have Professor Leakey. She was teaching me some things. Just some things that I observed while looking at this building. I noticed that, and Leakey pointed this out to me, on the outside of the building, there was this little trail of rocks. There were some pebbles. And it wasn't natural. Someone had put them there, and I thought it was rather odd. But as we observed, Aliki pointed out to me that they were in line with the eave or the edge of the roof. So the water would come down the roof, it would fall off, and it would land on this little path of stones. And because it was cold and wet and rainy, we were able to watch the water come and hit the rocks. And this was placed there to help prevent the water from eroding the dirt. I thought that was incredible, very simple, but very beautiful. Another observation Aliki pointed out to me was, you can see on the north side of the building, the stone on the bottom is very black. Lichen grows on it because as the water and moisture comes, there's the capillary action and the moisture and water climbs up the wall. But you can see there on the east side, there is no blackness on the stone, and that's because the sun doesn't hit the north side, and so it would evaporate on the east, and it was fine, but it had a harder time evaporating on the north, so it would leave behind salts, and the lichen would grow on it. So, important things to observe and to know.
Oops. I don't know what I did with your cake, but anyway. So, I only have very short time to talk about this life-changing experience, but I'm just so grateful for my professors, for UNESCO, for the Blossoming Stones, for providing students like me with these opportunities. It is so important to have your boots on the ground, to be in the buildings, at the places. You can't learn everything in a classroom or on a computer. And I'm so grateful for Aliki for being willing to mentor me and help me learn how to see and observe the built and the natural environment. Architects shouldn't just design new buildings, but like Baldomero talked about, we need to be stewards of our heritage and of existing buildings. As architects, we need to protect and to observe and document these important pieces of our heritage. So once again, I'm just so grateful for this opportunity, for all I learned, and for the amazing people I was able to meet. So thank you. Of course, it went off on you. We'll see if it comes back up. Okay, just
now for the fun part.
No, it's not fun. It has to come back up. We'll see what happens. Maybe. I'll zip through it here real quick. So, because we were just starting off, we had the other students to quickly start using some newer technology. This is an X-Grids piece of hardware, and I'm going to take you through kind of the process, getting the camera, scanning quickly, processing, optimizing, and rendering the data. Something that's probably really important to understand, first of all, is Pentalofos. Many of you probably know where it's at. If I'm talking to an American citizen, they have no idea where it's at. What's really wonderful about this mountain village is being able to, one, experience going through Greece. The students really learned a lot by traveling from Athens, going up to the north. That's the first point. The second is getting a cultural experience and the warm generosity, not only Pentalofos, Laggadea as well, but the warmth of the people. That's what made probably the largest impression, and then that cross-pollination of our cultures and our understanding. But the location itself is wonderful. It's very much in the same realm as you would have here in Laggadea. See if it'll decide to go on. There we go. Okay, so the first time that we went back in 2024, we did virtual reality, and they were all still images. And so we actually have all of the entire church captured. Now, goes back to Dr. Gignazis. He didn't tell us we were doing it. He changed plans, located us in front of the building, didn't tell us what it was. He opened the door, and the students walked in and had a life-changing experience. Why? Because they'd never seen anything like that. Most hadn't. And they walked into the first comment that one of my students made, Michael Bailey. He said, "What did I do to deserve this?" That's what he said. For 2.5 days, this was not on our agenda. Those students labored for 2.5 days, all the way through the day, in order to capture what's inside of this beautiful edifice. 1742, correct? And the frescoes somewhere around 1760, 1765. We have a lot of work to do to gather this information. We're going to be playing catch up with Aliki and Layla. But he was able to capture all of that. Now, we ended up deciding that we needed to start using some new technology, and so we were able to purchase this new device from X-Grids. Normally, a device like this would be about 20,000 American dollars, okay? Roughly 22,000 euros, okay? Depends on the capabilities. This is brand new as of last November. So while we're planning, I'm finding funding to purchase this device. That funding fell through, by the way, and I took from our other funds in order to get it. Made it really tight, trying to get here. This came out, it's 5,000 American dollars. 20,000 versus 5,000. This brought it down. Now, does this have all the capabilities? No. But it allowed to get it in the hands of students so they could start learning about how LiDAR and photogrammetry and new technology called Gaussian splats. You can ask me about the technical details a little bit later, but here's the device. What's beautiful about this, it connects to our mobile phone and it acts as a viewer. You can see it right up there. You can use an Android device or an iPhone, and allows us to see everything that we're capturing with the LiDAR specifically. And you can see in that area, in the volume, that was one of our rooms back in Utah. It's volumetric, and it's understanding what it's actually capturing and how well it's capturing it. And anyway, you can see, based upon this, the type of data that we're getting. There's the before and then the after, and we can see everything that's occurring. Trying to go quickly so that Paul can have plenty of time. Now, here's where the problems begin. We can capture all this data. Let me just say, too, we had a week and a half to learn how to use this by the time we got it. Came out in November, we had a week and a half. Michael quickly was trying to learn. We also chose the easiest place to go and test this new technology out, did we not? No, Aliki, this was not the easiest place to go. This is probably the hardest location to go and test this out. The software itself is wonderful. We actually used a desktop that we had from another project that we were doing in the VR headspace. Very high-powered desktop PC. Well, let me tell you something. You notice that there's a fail that's up there. How many cloud point data points do we have on currently what we have? And we haven't stitched all of them together yet. We have over 20 million cloud point data, points that are shaping this. And as we build the rest of it, we'll probably end up with about 40 million data points for this edifice alone. We haven't even done the outside yet. But notice we're having errors. That machine has 64 gigabytes of RAM. We called up X-Grids and we said, hey, you need 512 gigabytes of RAM. Has anyone tried to buy RAM today? The 64 gigabytes when we bought that computer cost us about $180. To buy 512 gigabytes of RAM is $12,000 right now. It's shot up 100-fold. We didn't get 512 gigabytes of RAM. But it shows that there's a lot that has to be done with technology. Next, see if I can get this to do what I want it to do. There we go. I'm going to show you a video because I need you to be able to see what type of things come out of this. We learned a lot. We made some mistakes. We had a week and a half to prepare. We had to render it, and we also had to get all the cloud points. Now I'm gonna quickly go through this, and then I'm gonna show you the video because it doesn't like me and it's gonna mess it up. Workflow is really interesting because we also had to solve certain problems. And so we have about 5 different software packages that we're moving through from the primary one all the way, and we're not all the way to the end. We still have a bunch of testing to do. We're going to put it into Unreal Engine, which we already have that tested. We've been using a different program called Houdini. We also have Cleaning Up, which is CloudPoint, and that is free, but we had to solve some errors in placement, okay? We have the optimization, which you can see in the CloudPoint, and it's using AI, and then we had to use Claude, which is from Anthropic. We had to use that because Claude is really good at looking at patterns. We asked it to look at cloud points and align those cloud points exactly where we can't do it by eye. It's seeing it and adjusting it, giving us the calculation. So I'm going to move out of that, and I'm going to quickly bring up this. I want to just quickly show you what like a cloud point data will look like. And this is Michael. He gave me these just briefly a couple days ago. You can see the complexity that's going on as we're building and putting together the mesh of all these cloud points. Having problems with the hardware is not what you want. 64 gigabytes is not generally a problem. This program eats RAM for lunch. So he's using this as an intermediary to help to align and look at what's going on with the cloud points. I'll show you what the LiDAR component looks like here in just a second. Now, Houdini is a separate package. It's costly. Luckily, we have a license for campus. But you can see all the different coordinate points that are coming up, and then you can also see what he's now able to do. He has to go in and do a little bit of code. If you're looking at here, these are all the stitches. Look at all those stitches, having to align them. And we have at least 70% more to do. Okay. So let me pull that. Now, here's another. Now, this is what we're looking at as we start pulling all the pieces. It doesn't look like much right now, but those are all data points that we're tracking. Aliki will know what that is. If you've been to this church, you'll know what it is.
upside down.
Yeah. As you go in, you start actually getting those points and seeing what's actually there. Okay, in the sake of time, I'm going to quickly pull this. Now, what do we get when we start pulling things together? That's the question. We start getting this. As it starts to build out and find out what's actually in that space. This is unclean, this is raw. This has not been adjusted and cleaned. We have to clean a lot of the data. It's going to take us hours in order to go through and do this. I just want to let you know that we are committed to going back to Pentalofos. We have a lot to do. That was our first 3-day pass. We have a lot to figure out with our technology, but just so that you know, I already did the place up where? Whoops. Because I could, I went ahead and started this morning. Where? Up there. What you guys are working on. So I've already started to do the collection point. Tomorrow I'll get back up there at 7 a.m. That's if we don't spend till 2 in the morning. Okay? So we will continue to utilize this hardware. And I just, both Will and I want to express our gratitude because of the experiences that we're able to have in your amazing country. Truthfully, Greece is an amazing country, and get a little emotional. And the hospitality that the people share with us. Yanis, today was really wonderful when we have members of your community expressing so much love and wanting to participate with us. Really appreciate it. So, to the people of Laggadlia, thank you.